everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Katie Nofel, and if you're new here, I make impractical crafts and lifestyle content. And for the start of 2025, I've decided to make my family and I cloaks to start off 2025 on the right foot. If you're new here and you don't know who I am a young wife and mama. I'm almost 25. I have been married for about 4 years now. And my husband Hens and I have an almost 2-year-old son named Owen. Unironically, the first song that my child listened to in the hospital when he was a couple of hours old was "They're Taking the Hobbits to Isangard." So I felt like really embracing my true self this year for 2025. I would start off with making us all some cloaks. We are headed to the thrift store because even though I want to bring whimsy to my life, I would like to do it cheaply. So I'm bringing you along with me on this journey of making my family some fellowship cloaks. Let's get to it.
So apparently I have forgotten how to make content, so you get voiceover, Katie. At the thrift store, I found this beautiful pink wool blanket. It looks like someone had actually used it for a blanket and practiced to sew the ribbons on the side. I ended up taking these off later just so that the hood would have a more uniform look. For all 3 cloaks, I ended up following a wonderful tutorial that was posted here on YouTube by Jess of the Shire, and I found it to be so helpful, and I'm so thankful that she made that video because it was super clear and easy to follow. And she also had a sewing tutorial along. If you don't know how to sew, she has a hand sewing tutorial along in her video. I estimated Jess and I to be about the same size, so for my cloak, I did the same measurements she did just all the way through. So I folded over 14 inches, and then we cut that, and I folded that over 22 inches so that I had 24 inches, and then I cut halfway of my neck circumference up to the corner so that I could sew my hood. At first, I was too lazy to get out my sewing machine, so I just hand sewed this back seam. And honestly, then I decided that I was too lazy to hand sew everything, so I eventually got out my sewing machine and machine sewed Hens's and Owen's. The blanket that I was able to find Hens for his cloak actually had less yardage than mine, so his hood ended up being a couple of inches shorter than mine when I initially made the cut. And then later you'll see that we changed something else a little bit, but I just did the same thing for him. So 22 inches down, and then taking his measurement of his neck, halfing it, and then cutting up to the corner. To figure out Owen's measurements for his hood, we finally used some math that I learned in school where we set up a proportional, and it was 22 over 14 is equal to 18 over x. And then just like when you're in school, you cross multiply, which comes out to 252 equals 22 times x, and then you divide by 22 and it comes out to 11.45, but we ended up rounding it to 11.5. Then we went through and we each folded our cloaks however long we wanted them to be in the front and then the back, so that we got our square so that we could cut out our neck hole. Now we have kind of a weird fun fact for all of us because we were able to find each of these household objects for our neck size. Plus about an inch or so that we don't choke ourselves with the cloak. But so coffee grounds, a bowl, and a flower pot for our neck sizes. So that's kind of a fun fact. After mine was done, which was kind of the guinea pig, we went through with both Hens's and Owen's, just doing the same thing, folding it and cutting out the neck hole. For Owen's, you can watch us kind of struggle with this math because we were trying to figure out how long it should be. We ended up messing this up and later going back and cutting it so that it was shorter. We doubled his length, so he's about 25 inches from the base of his neck to the floor, and we ended up giving him 50 inches, so we ended up going back and cutting it in half. After that, I sat down at our sewing machine and I attached the hoods to both Hens's and Owen's cloaks, and it was time to run to Michael's and get some clasps. Hens attached his own clasp, and I attached Owen's and mine, and with that takes us to the reveal.
So, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for being here. In all, this cost less than $30, which I think is pretty impressive. I'm going to go in when I get the chance, and I am going to shorten mine a little bit because I kind of want more of a riding cape. And I'm going to maybe add in some lace around the edges because even though it's wool, it was unraveling, which I was a little bit surprised about. Maybe it wasn't wool, but there's no way to tell. There was no kind of tag or anything on mine. I definitely need to go in. I'm going to ask my mother-in-law if I could borrow her serger for both Owen's because his is unraveling quite a bit, but I do not have a serger and I do not want to try to hem all of it normally because I'm lazy. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new here, make sure you like and subscribe. This upcoming video, I'm very excited. It's very vintage inspired. It's something that I've never done before, so I'm getting started on it like tomorrow. I don't know if I've ever like officially said this. My upload schedule is every other week, so I'll be seeing you in my next video. Toodles. Boom! Walk here.
Come here.
Come here.
Amazing. Owen, come here.
There we go. Come here, Owen. Come to mommy.
Come here.
Owen, walk to mommy. Come here.